do you guys have a hierarchical power structure of like there's hierarchies and there is but he just doesn't have as much power and autonomy?
So the local churches. So let's go back to the 5th century in the Third Ecumenical Council, for example. Just to put perspective here, we have all the entire churches gathered, and they give to the Church of Cyprus, for instance, autonomy. Okay. It's a local church in Cyprus. It's an island. For those who don't know the geography, it's off of south of Asia Minor, south of Turkey, just across from the Holy Land. It's the island of Cyprus, and from the 5th century, 400s, 430, it's been an autonomous church. Doesn't mean it's not the Orthodox Church. It just means that administratively it's self-governed for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
So that's how the Orthodox Church is organized and has been long before the papacy developed everything that's developed today. There's a lot of ignorance among Roman Catholic apologists. They don't understand that's been going on long before the established churches of Serbia or Romania or whatever, right? This is how the church is organized locally. So the synaxis of the bishop, with all the people around him, is the Orthodox Church, and so and each locality, right? So if you read the writings of Saint Ignatius of Antioch, for instance, disciple of Saint John the theologian, clearly shows that this is the theology. It's always been there. The bishop, surrounded by the deacons, the priests, the people in the Eucharistic synaxis. This is the local church. This is the church, and that's repeated in every locality. And then those bishops, when there's problems, when there's confrontation, there's confusion, like in the Acts of the Apostles, they got together in Jerusalem, but again and again throughout church history, they come together and they say, what are we going to respond to this provocation? The Judaizers with Apostle Paul or whoever it might be, right? And so that's how the church has operated for 2,000 years. The pyramid structure of the papacy is very, very late, and it's basically an imposition on the rest of the church.
Yeah, I just watched a debate between Dr. James White, and a younger Catholic apologist named, I think his channel's called Voice of Reason, I want to say.
Yeah.
Very, very sharp young man.
Yeah.
And they debated, and one of the things he said, and you're talking about doctrinal developments, and you were talking about why your parents left the Anglican Church, and one of the things that Voice of Reason said was that if the Catholic Church ever comes out in homosexuality and pro-gay marriage, then it's a false church, and that's the way you falsify Catholicism. And Dr. James White's response was like, "Be careful, like mark this moment," because he was kind of alluding that like we've seen this happen in other circles that we never thought it would happen in, and be careful with this because that development could come down the road.
So we would say the same thing, but we would say infallibility is one of those doctrines. So it's very interesting. People there's a double standard in the sense, like the family. If we were to talk about the family, like everybody, I think every Christian would say, look, the family is a father and a mother.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's how it's always been, right?
Yes.
Well, the same thing applies to the family of the church. There's an image of the family of the church. It's never been doubted, and so if you apply the same standard to the ethical, moral, familial level, and you just take it to the ecclesial level, we can say this already happened. Like we're not waiting for it to happen on that level. It's already happened on the basic level of who is Christ. Because when you say what is the church, where is the church, you're really saying who's Christ. Where's Christ? Because the body of Christ is the church. These things are inseparable. So the vision of Christ, the experience of Christ informs us and teaches us, and it's in the body of Christ. And that's so the same thing's applicable. I would say to the apologists that you're talking about, why only on that level? There's been many innovations in faith in the West that have departed from that which has been given to us.